Good morning. Thanks for joining me this morning. I appreciate it so much. This is Jacqueline Wolven. You can find me at jacquelinewoolven.com. And to do a brief intro, I've been in marketing for over 25 years. I started out my very first project was as a graphic designer, and I designed Ninja Turtle toy packaging. So if you have kids, I'm pretty popular with a certain age set. Now younger ones, and then definitely those that are in their late 20s. Anyway, but I've been doing marketing for a really long time. I try to keep up with what's new and what's interesting. I'm a part-time Main Street director, and I manage a downtown district of about 98 small businesses. So I'm constantly working with small businesses of all kinds. And then I'm also a consultant for probably I would call them micro to small businesses nationwide. Those are businesses that are usually under $1 million annually and have anywhere from 1 to 20 employees. So that's sort of my background. And this particular topic, Facebook advertising, comes up all the time. And so instead of convincing someone to do it or any of that, I like to just show people what's possible, take some questions, and see if this is the right fit for your business. It's not right for everybody, and that's totally okay. So what I suggest is throughout this session, go ahead and in the question section, you can go ahead and type in your questions as they come up. And at the end of the session, I will answer them. And then sometime this week, you will get the recording of this webinar. So if for some reason you have to pop off or head to a meeting or do something, don't worry, you'll go ahead and you'll still get the webinar. So let's go ahead and I'll just show you some basic things. So if you don't have an ad campaign yet, you won't have this. But if you do, you'll have a little thing on the side here that says Ad Manager. But we're going to go in this way because I think this is how most of you will see. So let's clarify a couple things. You cannot have an ad on your personal profile. So let me go back. This is my personal profile. I can't have an ad here. I can't advertise things about my own personal life, which is a good thing probably. We don't really need people to advertise their personal life. But you can advertise on your business page or your organization page. Those are the places that you can advertise. So I'm going to just go ahead and go straight to my page. And so you can see the difference. And I should say, so this is all my personal stuff, and stuff will fly up and you'll see it. And, I have no control over what anyone says or does and or what they post or anything like that. So you just get to see it live because I think it's just better than a static presentation. So this is your page, and you have a couple of options. Your first option, now, Facebook is a business, and so they are all about you trying to spend money with them. So let's be clear about that. It is a business that you have the privilege of being on for free, and they may or may not show your things, and that's okay because it's free. Every other place that you have to advertise, you absolutely have to pay for. So when people get frustrated about the algorithm or they get frustrated that they're not, people aren't seeing their stuff, let's be very clear here. Facebook is a business and they've opened it up to the whole world, and you have the opportunity to put your information and your photos and your events and all this other stuff on it, but they are definitely going to use all of that for their own good or their own, for their own thing. And the only way that I guess you can sort of guarantee that people will see your stuff is through advertising. Now, I will do a caveat here. Most of the businesses that I work with are pretty small, and so they can't just have a bottomless pit of advertising. So we'll talk about some really specific things to advertise, but just know that it is a business. You pay to play. That's just how it works. Okay, so you have a couple options. They want you to promote your page here. Here's a promote button over here. Over here, they want you to promote your page. Every post that you post has a boost post. Those are all options for you to to pay them for people to see your things. And so that's one option. It's not how I recommend people do any of it. So all of these things are just sort of the quick boost, and that really is never how I ask people who are just starting in Facebook advertising to do this. Instead, up here where it says build audience, this is where you go and you choose use ads manager or promote page. So we're going to go ahead and use the ads manager. I'm going to go ahead and go into one. I have a lot of accounts because I run a lot of accounts for a lot of different people. And we're going to, up here, it'll say create ad. So this is the screen that you'll get. It looks like this. Now, here's a tip. I ask most of my clients to have, instead of using a credit or debit card, to use a Visa gift card or MasterCard gift card, because it has a finite amount of money on it. And if there were to be any problems with the credit card, extra charges, which I've only had happen once on Facebook, and they did rectify it right away, but it's covered and it's not a bottomless pit. Or if you're going to choose between a credit or debit card, use a credit card, because there's protections on a credit card that there usually aren't on a debit card. Those are safety for really any transaction online. Okay, so here are your options. So it's all about objectives. The reason you do an ad is because you want people to do something. So no more are we just doing advertising to put ads out there where, and tell people, oh, hey, we have a business. You actually usually want them to do something. At least I want them to do something. So it may be that you want to send them to your website. I use this a lot for clients. So we build specific landing pages. That's an extra page on your website that's very specific. So let's say you're a florist and you know that Valentine's Day is coming up. Yeah, I know it's Christmas, but you're thinking ahead. Valentine's Day is coming up, so you build a landing page that's all about the perfect Valentine, and you send people directly to that page. I usually do not send people to just your front page because here's the deal. Most people on Facebook are looking at it on a mobile device. And so we don't really want people to land on your front page and not know where to navigate. They'll just bounce right off. So instead, the ad is created for them to specifically do something. So that's the sending them to your website. The increasing conversions, that's when you want them to do something. So here's another piece. You can have Facebook has technology where you can create a pixel, that you place on your website, and they can track conversions. They can track if people are actually spending money or clicking on a button or signing up for your newsletter or whatever it is that you want them to do. That's sort of an advanced feature, but it's totally possible. Boost posts. So that's if you're boosting a post, you've posted something and you want more people to see it. I do use this sometimes. I have some clients who are writers and who are writing in other areas. And so when they've written a post, say on Huffington Post or Belief.net or some other place, then sometimes we'll make a post of that and we'll boost that post so we can generate more traffic to it. Sometimes we'll do that. You can just promote your page. This is basically to get more likes on your page. And for a very small, just starting out Facebook page, this isn't a bad idea, especially if you're a brick and mortar or if you're a localized business, because getting people to know who you are is not a bad thing. And doing that quickly can be really helpful. So how that works is you would want to really, you'll see where we can create some real geographic boundaries and you can promote your page. The more people who see your page, who like your page, will see your page. It's all a numbers game, and I'll show you something about that in just a minute. If you're app developers, you can get people to install or engage in it. You can have that localized business. That this is another way to do this. People who are near your business. So if they like one thing, your ad will come up because it's near that other business. Raise attendance to your event. This is a great thing, especially if you're have an event where you have tickets that need to be sold. This is a particularly good area for people who are advertising. Everybody needs more people at their events, and this is an easy way. You create an event on your page, and then you can raise attendance by advertising that event. You can have people claim offers. I use this for clients all the time, especially for events or ticketed things where you can do dollars off or buy one, get one free or specials or whatever it is. This is a great way for people to connect to your business. And people claim those offers. So it's just basically a coupon. That's all that is. And then videos. Videos somewhat new to Facebook, weirdly, this option, but you can get more video views if you boost your post with that. So, but we're going to go ahead and do very simply, we're going to do a promote your page. We'll go ahead and do it to mine. You can name your campaign. So I'm going to name it this because we aren't going to keep it, but so that gives you an idea. So you can name each of your campaigns. So if you have multiple campaigns running, you'll be able to name them. So here's where it gets fun. You have the opportunity to choose custom audiences. So let's say that you're a very local business and you could, let's say you were in Austin, Texas. You can choose specifically Austin, Texas in the 25-mile range, which is amazing. So you have this opportunity to target just the people on Facebook who are just right there. You may want to do all of the United States. You may just want to do your state. So let's say that you're in California. You have the opportunity to do just the state. So you can do this in any way you want. You have the options of doing locations. I try to tell people to really pick an area or a specific area. Let's say you're doing an event in, I don't know, Taos, New Mexico. So you would do try to find people in that area, or maybe you're doing your brick and mortar is in one place, then do that particular geographic area. Doing all of the United States, although great because there's millions of people, isn't targeted enough really. So we'll go ahead and we'll do, for me, we're going to go ahead and do Fayetteville, Arkansas. So that's near me, 25-mile radius. And so getting down to a smaller place. And then ages. So you have to decide. So when you think about your customers or your ideal customers, I like to say, you try to think about who are they and how old are they? So for me, I know that my customers are actually mostly, let's say 30 to 65, and they tend to be women. Sorry, guys, but they tend to be women. And so let's say I'm going to target my ad to 30 to 65. Well, I'll bring this down a little bit, probably not 65, maybe closer to, we'll say 55. So it gets smaller and smaller. And here you can see the potential reach goes up and down, right down here. So you can choose languages if you were looking specifically for someone, maybe people who spoke Mandarin or people who spoke Spanish, whatever that is, you'd have this opportunity to really target in the language as well. More demographics is probably where the most exciting thing happens. So here you go. So you have this, so people have this tendency to tell Facebook everything. They just tell them everything. And so you get to use that data, which is scary and wonderful. So you have where there's, you get to see their relationships. you get to see, so you can see, here you go, you can see what their relationship status is. You can see who they're interested in, men who love women, women who love men, blah, blah, blah. Their education level, fields of study, the schools they went to, these all filter in what their employers are, their job titles. So let's say the people who usually buy your service, if you're a service business, are the CFO or the CEO. Well, you can do it by job title. You can target people specifically by job title. Office type, industries, income and net worth. I use this with a client of mine who has a more upscale product. We go ahead and we look at we choose by net worth. This gives options on what people's net worth. People tell Facebook what their net worth is. So that's an interesting thing. So if you have a product that is, for, that your ideal client is of a certain, income level, you can target them specifically. Their home, what type of home? Do they own it? Do they rent it? Who's in their household? Their ethnic affinity, what generation they're in? Are they millennials? Are they baby boomers? Are you targeting just to parents or just to moms? That this is really effective for people who have products or services that moms would be interested in. What their political leanings are, if that's something that you're working on. I worked with someone who was a candidate, and this is definitely something they were looking on. And then life events. I use this for a client of mine. So people who have anniversaries, who are away from their family or hometown. Who are in long distance relationships. And really, people tell them everything. If they're in a new job, a new relationship, newly engaged, newly married, if they've recently moved. So this is great for people maybe who are looking for new residents to their community. Maybe they have something that is definitely set up for that. So you can see people who just moved into your city. And I use this all the time, the upcoming birthday. So let's say you have a product or a service or something that you give away for free on your website, an ebook or something like that. You can do upcoming birthdays. And so people who are about to have a birthday within a week, they see the ad and you've given them this free gift, and it's a way for them to connect to you. So weirdly, all that stuff that you told Facebook, they're using in their advertising, which is really phenomenal. As a marketing professional in the past, stuff like this would be iffy at best if you bought it from a list provider, and it would be it just wouldn't be very effective. Now, because people are pretty honest on Facebook, I mean, they really do tell them everything. You have this opportunity to tap into exactly the type of client that you're looking for. There's interests. So business and industry, and here you can choose these, or you can just start typing. So let's say for me, something that they would be interested in, Small Business Saturday. So I can choose that. Maybe the people that I'm interested in are interested. So remember, I was in that city of Fayetteville, and then I've just chosen Small Business Saturdays. So now I'm targeting about 4,200 people. So maybe of those, I'm looking at people who are interested in Etsy, if I was looking for makers or crafters. And so now it's gone up. Now we're looking at 10,000 people. It isn't important to me when I'm working on a client's ad that I'm reaching millions of people, because I don't need 1 million people who aren't interested. I need fewer people who are actually interested in the product that I'm trying to advertise. So for me, a number from 4 to 10,000 is totally fine. Anyway, so you can write lots of interest. Let's say, I don't know, you could say, are they interested in I don't know. You could choose like a magazine. Maybe are they interested in Martha Stewart? See, Martha Stewart Living. And there's more. I mean, you could, whatever it is for you, it could be, are they interested in Forbes? Are they interested in a certain kind of car? Do your clients, do you all notice that they drive a certain kind of car, or they have a certain kind of, if they're women, is there a certain kind of purse that they're interested in? Are they all interested in Tory Burch, or whatever it is? You can really target in here. What I try to tell clients is don't get too deeply into this, because it will be too targeted in a way. And so maybe 3 to 5 interests, maybe 1 to 5 interests, that's totally fine, especially if you're doing a small geographic area. Fayetteville's really small, 25,000 people, something like that. And so we want to make sure that we're not targeting too closely. So as a rule of thumb, 1 to 5 things is fine. Behaviors would be, are they mobile devices, things like that? Do they make charitable donations, which is important for a nonprofit? I would explore that further for a nonprofit. And if I were doing things internationally, I would do expats. But for the most part, I kind of keep this, I keep the behaviors down. What I found is it hasn't changed the advertising too much when I've played in there. And so I really focus more on the interests. So here's the next is connections. So all people, only people already connected to my page. Well, I'm not really that interested in that because they already like my page. Only people not connected. And then you have some advanced connection options. So you can include people who are connected to event names or events that you've done or pages or other apps. You can exclude people if that was a thing for you. I don't use that very often. What I usually do is only people not connected, because that's who I'm really looking for, is new clients, new customers, new people. And then here we get into the budget. I have been working with clients who are spending anywhere from $1 a day, so $30 a month, to maybe at the most $100 a month. Now, so this would be just for a page like. Now, for an event, I might have a really targeted window and I want to spend $20 to fill that class and over a 5-day period. So depending, but we're talking really tiny targeted budgets, not like your pay-per-click campaign that you're running on Google, where you may be spending, I don't even know, people are spending $100 a day. It's crazy. Maybe I'll do a class on that at some point. But these are really short, focused, targeted. I have one client that's run one continuously. They get, anywhere from 100 to 200 page likes a week. And that's great for them because it's just this very simple growth that they're looking for. So small targeted budgets are perfectly acceptable. You can optimize your page for likes, clicks, or impressions. For something like this, you're wanting it for likes, because the more people who like your page, the more chance that they'll see it organically. So that's what you're trying to do. So then you have some options here to create it. Here's some fun things. So you can upload an image that tells you exactly the size over here. It's 1200 by 444 pixels. I use a couple of things. I use Photoshop, I use Illustrator. Those are pretty expensive programs, but you can use PicMonkey and you can use Canva. So PicMonkey is free, and you can create images just on PicMonkey to those size specifications, and the same with Canva. You can do a custom right here, and you can make it specifically for the ad size. So those are 2 free options. And then, so here's another thing I do though. So I have clients who it's just easier sometimes to use stock images. And so you can search, let's say you're a florist. You can look in here and you can look for images, and you can choose one of these stock images that normally you would have to pay for free. It's all powered by Shutterstock. It's an agreement that they have with Facebook. So you can choose your images just from here, which is amazing. This is a great access to beautiful images. So you can pick 1, 2, 3 of these, whatever it is. So there you go. And then what I usually have people do is create anywhere from 1 to 3 ads, 3 images, and then that's sort of an ABC test because you can see which ad does better. And images are a big part of how people respond to ads. So we definitely, the image that's going to do the best is the one that you would keep. So this is a great way to test. So you have this option to browse the library, and which is great. You don't even have to create your own images if that's not something that you have access to. Here you have your text. So, you have this opportunity to say, looking for the perfect gift, going with the florist theme or any other gift theme. So let's say you've created on, you're posting lots of gift guides on your page, and so you want them to look at it. You don't have very much copy here, but that's okay. You don't need to. There's a lot more places, so you can change the headline if you want to. Maybe it's flowers say. Whatever it is, you can, work on your headline. And then you have this option where on your timeline you want them to land. On your events page, maybe you want them to sign up for your email newsletter, wherever it is. It might just be on your timeline, and that's totally fine. These are taking a little while, these weird photo ads, but this gives you an idea of what your ads will look like. And then basically you say yes, you're going to place the order. Here's the deal, is that they will either reject you or not. If you have too much text on your photo, I'll go ahead and delete these since they're taking a while, weirdly. If you have too much text, so let's say you uploaded your own photo and it has too much text, that's where they will push your ad out and they won't accept it. So having a little bit of text is fine. The ratio is about 20% text, but even that sometimes they'll push out. What you're looking for is really stunning, big images that say, yes, I want to click on that page. That's what you're really looking for. So then you go ahead and you place the order. And that's it. That's the creating the ad. So let me show you. I'm gonna get out of here. It's gonna be mad at me, but we're gonna get out of there. And then what happens is, so your ad's approved, and you'll have a lot of options for looking at ads. And I'll go ahead and look at this ad. And this shows you this is what it'll show you for your campaigns. It'll show you how many clicks. This was a website click. So clicks, what your reach was, how often people are seeing it, how much you've spent. It gives you really great reporting. You can go in and you can see the ad set, how many ads were created. This were 4 ads. And in this one, this is a perfect example of this. So I did 4 separate images with the same copy and the same ad, but only one of them is really delivering. And so what will happen is I will turn off these other ads that aren't delivering, because obviously that's not the image that people are attracted to. And so, and they're not delivering as well. And so this is why I say, do 1 to 3. This was 4 different images. It gives you an option to do 6. And then you can just turn off the ones that aren't working at all. So this is your reporting, which is great. It allows you to see hands-on every day what's working and what's not working, which I find really effective because I can go in and turn things on and off. I want to show you this is sort of a big aha that I found. So on your page, you have insights on your page. And I wanted to, there is some conversation about, do ads work, or people aren't seeing my things, or whatever it is. And I wanted to show this because I feel like people have greater expectations for the amount of work that they're doing. So I'm going to show you. So you have this opportunity to watch other pages on your insights. And I watch people who I'm interested in, who are in my field. And what the big aha was is, so I have this tiny amount of likes, 1.5, that's fine. And I watch Guy Kawasaki, who I've watched for years. I've read his books for years. And look, he has 270,000 people like his page. And he has posted 76 times. And he gets 7,000 engagements. So here's the deal. So I'm really happy to have posted 19 times, which seems like a lot, and have 61 people have engagement, which means they've liked something, they've commented, or they shared. It's not how many saw it, it's the likes, comments, and shares. Because I don't have 270,000 people who like my page. So the ratio is going to be much smaller, and I am okay with that. So what I'm trying to say to you is, maybe you're going to be amazing and get 1 million people, to like your page, and you'll have more people like it based on the fact that more people saw it or are interacting with it. But if you are in the 1,500, I mean, I have a client who's just starting out and who has 300 people who like her page. It's okay to have smaller engagement. Because the people who are engaging are the people who actually care about your product or service. So don't get hung up on the numbers, is what I'm trying to say. It's okay. I also wanted to show you, so in your insights, so this is not your ad insights, this is just your page insights, but this can inform how you're going to buy ads. You can see all of the, the people, the demographics, who likes your page already might give you an idea of who you want to target more of. This is great for age groups and men and women. See what I said about the women? Women really do like my page. So that gives you some more clarification on who your people are. So let me show you quickly a few other ad options that you have. So you can boost a post. So this is an option. It doesn't give you as much of the demographic information, which is why I don't usually suggest this for people. It takes the post just as it is. You can't edit it. This is what it looks like. You can choose the audience, the duration, and the budget, and that's it. And that might be important if you have maybe you have an upcoming event, or maybe you have a product that you keep posting. Maybe that's very specific, that you just want to keep pushing that one thing. You might spend a few dollars boosting that post. But really, I haven't seen this be effective for clients, and I try to tell them not to do this. I try to tell them instead to go through the ads manager. It's the same with this. This doesn't give you as much options, and this doesn't give you as much options. The ads manager truly allows you to have all of that demographic information. So if there's questions, we have a little bit of time. I ran through that pretty quickly. I'm going to go ahead and answer. So what are the differences between the various optimization options? Well, this is a great question. There are lots of differences. Are you asking specifically? Let me see. This is a question. When I go in here, when you're optimizing for, so your options for optimizing are sending people to your website, boosting your post, promoting your page, the difference is, you want them to stay in Facebook, which people already do. The statistic is that people are on Facebook at least 8 hours a day. It's usually a tab that's just up. And so they already have it's just up all the time. And if not, the notifications are on, and so they're just seeing the notifications. So it's okay to keep them in Facebook because they are often not interested in moving out of Facebook. But different people need different things, so their ads do different things. But your options are really keeping them in or taking them out. Can I break down the cost further in more detail and how it works? Sure, I'm happy to break down the cost. Let's look at. I'm gonna do it so that I boost a post, although this is not how I would do it. But you have this option for a maximum budget. So you can choose your maximum budget and how many days you want it to run. And it's the same in the ads when you go through the ad manager. You have this opportunity to do it to run forever or to run for a certain amount of days. Now, I really like clients to have it run for a certain amount of days, and then we can recreate the ad or we can keep it going if we want to. They give you that option. And that way there's a finite number. And usually that creates a little more comfort in doing an ad in the first place. So, and I wouldn't do $40. I mean, really $5, but you'll see how it goes down, but that's okay. I'm not looking at millions of people to like something. But that's your options really. You can choose the amount of money. There's another way that you can do it, is that in the ads manager, you have the opportunity to create a maximum budget. So let's say $350 maximum, and let them spend it however they want to. Now, I don't usually have clients do that either, because that's based on the whims of Facebook, and that comfort level for most small businesses isn't there. So instead, clients are more apt to want to try, $2 to $3 a day, $3 to $5 a day, as opposed to let's just spend $500 and let Facebook do it however they want. It's a good question, and you can play with that a little bit. So here's another question. I currently have a Facebook page for my personal use. Should I create a separate Facebook page with my business name? I don't like to mix the two. Well, there's, to be clear, there's pages and profiles. So everyone has to have a profile. This is your profile, or this is my profile. That's how you sign into Facebook. It's your personal, profile. And the reason you have one is because Facebook makes you have one. And then you can create pages for your businesses. So I run a lot of pages for different organizations and clients, and you have a page. So the reason you have a page is because that is your business entity. You cannot run a Facebook ad on a profile. You can only run it on a business page. And I will tell you the secret of Facebook. The people that you are friends with, and if you saw me, you'd see me like doing air quotes around friends on Facebook, are not necessarily your real friends. They are acquaintances or people you know in your town or people you know in your business life. And I wouldn't ever suggest you share your whole life on Facebook. I mean, you were grown-ups, right? And so the reason you friend them is because if you're creating events, it's the only way you can invite them to the event. So there's this weird mix of business and personal. And those of us of a certain age, I'm 45, that gets awkward. We were used to having a business life and a personal life. Well, it isn't that way anymore. People are just people, and they flow between the two sort of seamlessly now. And so you have a personal profile and you have a business page, but if you want to invite people to things on your business page, you have to like them as friends. But again, just, keep it professional and it should be just fine. Um, do I see churches using ads? Yes, churches do use ads, and what the benefit would be. Well, if you are growing a ministry or you had special projects or you were trying to reach, think about this, if you were trying to reach new people in your community, you would be able to target new, people who've just moved in the last 6 months to your church or your affinity groups or what all the other pieces that you might have. And so yeah, I could see where you could use it. Or maybe you're having special events or series. I know that a lot of churches provide different different seminars or series that they do, and you might promote those as events and then promote those with an ad. So yeah, I do. I see that a church could definitely use a Facebook ad, especially with that really localized targeting. You have an idea already of how far people would drive to your location, and so you could target specifically into that localized demographic. If you're Here's a question: if your company is targeting educators, professors, is LinkedIn a better source to target this group? Interesting. I work with some former professors who now run a startup, and they are all about the LinkedIn. Excuse me. They are all about LinkedIn. The difference, and I can do a LinkedIn class at another time, LinkedIn ads are more expensive and definitely more targeted and really more for the job seeker as opposed to um, business service or something like that. So this is tricky because I don't see professors, especially college professors, necessarily using Facebook in the same way. So that particular demographic might be tricky, except in those options to optimize, you have the ability to choose school and choose profession. So you might be able to target your ads so specifically just to them. I just don't know if they are sitting around on Facebook like office workers are, or different people like that. So that's a little trickier. The education market is a little slow to embrace. I know a fun statistic is, they at one point they said all high school students or millennials or younger were leaving Facebook. Well, they didn't leave Facebook. High schools blocked Facebook from their networks, and so they just moved on to Instagram because that wasn't blocked. So it isn't that, and they are still on Facebook. They just don't want to share any of their personal information anymore. So here's a question. We're green construction managers and consultants for hotels. Oh, yeah, you could definitely, you have the very specific demographic. You could choose an area that you're building, or you could choose people who are already have those affiliations, are already interested in green construction. You have that really targeted possibility. Here's the thing about you, though. If I were to spend money on advertising, Facebook probably wouldn't be the thing that I would do, because the people who buy or who are building or reconstructing hotels too, I work in preservation, so they're interested in green construction, probably aren't buying from Facebook. So is that the best use of your money? Probably not. I try to really be clear about who this is good for and who this isn't. And yes, you could because you never know who wants to build a hotel or who's going to build a hotel or who's going to use your services. It's true, you don't. But would you spend a large amount of your marketing budget in Facebook? No, probably not. Good question though. Good question. Marketing an online store, absolutely. So the question is, would you use Facebook to market an online store? You betcha. Here's the thing: people buy. You can create a store right in Facebook, which I did not show you, but people can buy products directly in. I have a client who had a certain gift item that they were selling for the holidays, and they did some sponsored, posts specifically about what they were selling, and they sold out basically of that gift item, that gift package that they put together. Very small business, small online store presence, but definitely, and for you, I would definitely follow some of the larger retailers, look at what they're doing, like their pages, see how they're selling online. But yes, absolutely. Don't post. Here's a caveat though. Don't post buy on your Facebook page, every 5 seconds. That's not interesting to people. But if you're going to buy an ad with a specific product or a specific product line that drives them directly to that page that's selling that thing, that's really good. That's really good marketing. If you send them just to your front page, but you were selling, let's say you're selling shoes or you sell accessories and you're advertising shoes, send them to the page that sells those shoes. Don't send them to the page that sells, just your front page or just your home page. You might want to look at Zappos.com and how they do it. West Elm does a really good job. They're a sort of home design. They do a lot of advertising on Facebook. You can see, and so yeah, definitely, I would definitely be advertising. So here's a question: how can I use Facebook ads for a small nonprofit? So I run a small nonprofit. My Main Street group is a organization, is a 501c3, and so here's a couple of ways. You might have a giving campaign. Maybe you were part of Giving Tuesday, or maybe you're doing an annual campaign. So you might do very specific ads about that campaign and how they can give directly and lead them to a page that allows them to give. Another option would be if you're providing services or have events. I would definitely be doing it that way. And it's if your nonprofit is community based, you can run a few campaigns just to get more people aware of what you're doing on Facebook, so you get more page likes, so more people will see your nonprofit. Don't spend a lot of money. I mean, the average budget, marketing budget total. This includes everything from imprinted pens and T-shirts to billboard advertising, is 5 to 10% of your revenue. So your Facebook advertising should be, a tiny part of that as a nonprofit. But definitely boost attendance on an event, boost a campaign. If you have a giving campaign where you have a goal, you can do ads that say we've reached this goal and now we're at this goal and now we're at that goal. We've met that goal. Those are really good things. And if you're looking for volunteers, you might have volunteer opportunities and do an ad specifically for volunteers. But yeah, a small nonprofit can absolutely use Facebook. Just don't spend a lot of money on it. Going back, there was more question on the optimization and options. Each of those menus allow you to go further and further in to optimize your ad. I try to keep it kind of broad because the more targeted, I'm not looking for 5 people. I'm usually looking for 5,000 people. And so the more targeted you get, the less people who will see it. So know that, play with it, go into the ads manager. You don't have to, that's a great thing about it, is that you don't have to say yes to the ad right away. You have the opportunity to just play with the optimization while you're in it. Which is a great opportunity. When you do an ad in the newspaper, you don't have that. Like, you do the display ad and then it's done. You don't get to play with it anymore. But you don't have to say yes to the ad in Facebook until you have played with every possible option. Anyway, I hope this was helpful. I would, for maybe 2015, try one ad, see how that works for you. You don't have to do a million ads. You can try just one. Um, it's just for me, it has been a really good way to grow interest in products, events, and companies. And so I don't discount it yet. And I understand that the world of advertising is pay to play. So I'm willing to pay $5 to have more people interact with a product, service, or idea. And so try it. If you need some help, you can contact me. I'm available at Jacqueline Wolven at gmail.com. Kind of down here, you can see. You can email me. You can go online. I have a newsletter that I send out every week on all kinds of, personal, professional development, marketing advice, so forth and so on. And I really want to thank Constant Contact. I couldn't do these free webinars without them. If you did sign up and had ideas about webinars that you wanted to have in the future, I'm making my list for 2015. And I plan to offer quite a few. If you have something specific, please just email me. I'm happy to contact back. And if you haven't tried Constant Contact, it's $20 a month. And it probably, if I were to spend money on marketing, and I'm not really trying to sell you here, but it is the best marketing I do. So think about your mix, think about what you're doing. And if you want to add email marketing, I'm happy to help you do that as well. Thanks. And I hope you have a great day. This recording will be, a link will be sent to you sometime this week. And if you have further questions, email me and I'll try to include them in the email out to everybody. Thanks so much. Have a great day.